The skies shimmered with auroras not seen for millions of years. Strange, ominous lights danced across the ancient landscape of Earth, a planet not yet touched by human hands. The Cretaceous period was in full bloom. Ferns as tall as houses, volcanoes belching ash into a hot, humid sky, and thunderous herds of triceratops roamed the plains. Apex predators like Tyrannosaurus Rex and Giganotosaurus stalked the jungles. But something foreign, something entirely alien, had arrived. A meteor had screamed through the atmosphere days earlier, crashing into a basin deep in what would one day be South America. The impact didn't create the kind of extinction-level devastation that would come later. It was precise, almost surgical. From the smoking crater, thick black spires rose into the air, chittering and pulsing as if alive. These were no rocks. These were hives. The Xenomorphs had come. Birthed from an unknown origin, the Xenomorphs were not here by accident. Their creators, long gone or perhaps destroyed by their own creation, had programmed a simple directive: survive and dominate. Earth, lush and primal, was a perfect breeding ground. The first dinosaur to approach the crater was a curious young Ankylosaurus. It lumbered toward the hive, nose twitching, tail club dragging behind. It sniffed at the strange black structure, then turned to leave. But it was too late. A facehugger leapt from the shadows, latching onto the beast's face with terrifying precision. His body convulsed, fell limp, and the egg layer went to work. 3 days later, the first Xenosaurus burst from its host. This creature, sleek, black, and sinewy, resembled the Ankylosaurus in structure but bore the horrifying characteristics of a xenomorph: acid blood, biomechanical exoskeleton, and double jaws. Its tail ended in a bladed mace. It hissed, its eyes gleaming with malevolent intelligence. The hive grew rapidly. Each new host gave birth to a variant more terrifying than the last. A xenoraptor with claws that could shred boulders. A xenopterosaur that flew silently and struck like a living missile. And the queen, towering and ancient-looking, gestated within a parasitized brachiosaurus, emerging as a skyscraper of glistening black rage. The dinosaurs at first paid no attention. They had their hierarchies, their territories, and their survival instincts. But the xenomorphs were not prey or competitors. They were a contagion. Packs of velociraptors began disappearing. Sauropods were found drained, their insides hollow. And then the attacks escalated. Tyrannosaurus Rex, king of the dinosaurs, ruled his valley with unmatched ferocity. He was no stranger to challengers, but this enemy was different. It struck from above, from below, and from within. One by one, his rivals vanished. One morning, as the mists rose, he found his mate disemboweled and surrounded by black slime. Something had eaten its way out of her. Fury overcame him. He followed the scent into the jungle. Hours passed. The trees thickened. And then he saw it. A swarm of xenomorphs, their shapes fluid and fast, surrounding an unfortunate stegosaurus. It didn't stand a chance. They overwhelmed it with precision, ignoring its tail spikes as they latched on and burrowed in. The stegosaurus screamed, a haunting, unnatural sound, and collapsed. Rex roared. The xenomorphs turned. The battle was like a storm. The king lunged, jaws snapping. He crushed one of the creatures in his mouth, its acid blood searing through his gums. He howled in agony, shaking the corpse from his jaws. 3 more leapt on his back, claws raking, tails stabbing. Rex bucked, slamming his weight into a tree and crushing 2 attackers. Another dived at his throat. He caught it midair, slamming it into the earth with such force its body split open. Wounded and bleeding, Rex staggered back. The remaining xenomorphs withdrew into the shadows, hissing in triumph. He had survived barely, but he now knew the threat was real. This was no predator he could outfight. This was a war. Elsewhere, the hive expanded. Xeno versions of every major dinosaur type now roamed the continent. Hive minds coordinated them with eerie precision. They did not eat for hunger, they bred, they hunted, they conquered. Entire herds vanished overnight. Some fought back. Triceratops with armored horns managed to kill a few before falling. Packs of feathered Deinonychus launched coordinated assaults, but acid and cunning undid them. But the dinosaurs were not just instinctual beasts. Some species were more intelligent than scientists of the future would ever guess. In particular, the Troodon, a small bird-like dinosaur with remarkable brain capacity, watched and learned. It observed the Xenomorphs, understood their patterns, and it devised a plan. Small, agile, and social, the Troodons rallied other species to their cause. They infiltrated nests, stole unhatched facehugger eggs, and crushed them underfoot. They planted traps, leading xenosaurs into tar pits and lava flows. They even began coating their claws in resin from toxic plants to fight the aliens' biological armor. Hope flickered. The xenomorphs adapted quickly. Too quickly. They developed hive guardians. Massive, multi-limbed monsters born from parasitized apex predators. One such horror, birthed from a fusion of a Giganotosaurus and xeno DNA, roamed the northern valley, impervious to claw or tooth. It left trails of destruction miles wide. The final confrontation came as the hives reached a critical point. The queen, now fully grown and laying hundreds of eggs per day, had established a throne at the heart of the ancient crater. Volcanic smoke cloaked the land in perpetual twilight. The jungle whispered with death. The alliance of dinosaurs, strange as it seemed, was ready. Tyrannosaurus led the charge. His burns scarred over, but his eyes burning with rage. Triceratops herds flanked him, horns lowered. Overhead, Pteranodon swooped, dropping heavy boulders onto exposed hives. The Troodon, masters of sabotage, infiltrated from the sides, setting fire to xeno nests and diverting warriors. The queen shrieked, a sound that pierced the sky. Xenomorphs surged from every corner of the hive. The battle that followed was cataclysmic. Tails lashed, teeth tore, and acid blood rained down like fire. Tyrannosaurus met the queen in the heart of the crater. She was larger, stronger, but he had fury. They clashed like gods. Her claws slashed across his ribs. He bit into her neck, shaking her like prey. Acid poured over his snout, melting flesh. Still, he held on, driving her into a volcanic vent. Steam erupted, blinding all. From above, a pteranodon, dying, bleeding, wings shredded, crashed into the queen's head, driving a jagged spike of obsidian into her crown. She screamed, thrashed, then fell into the magma below. The ground quaked. The xenomorphs, momentarily disoriented by the loss of their queen, faltered. The dinosaurs surged. Every tooth, horn, and claw pressed the assault. One by one, the xenos fell. When the dust settled, the jungle was silent. Smoke coiled into the sky. The dinosaurs, fewer now, wounded and weary, had won. The hives were broken, the xenomorphs defeated, for now. Tyrannosaurus stood over the steaming crater, scorched but alive. Around him, Troodon scouts gathered, their eyes gleaming with understanding. They had survived extinction, not from a rock in the sky, but from something far worse, an enemy born of nightmares. Time passed. The xenomorph bodies decayed, their acidic blood purging them from Earth's ecosystem. The hives crumbled. The dinosaurs continued, unaware that their true extinction still loomed millions of years ahead. But for that fleeting, ferocious era, Earth belonged not to aliens nor to gods. It belonged to the dinosaurs, fighters, survivors, and champions of the ultimate battle. And beneath the crater, deep in the earth, something black still pulsed, waiting,